Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Brian, 10th Man, Paul Hall, Neil, Flatsoid, Chocolate Sane, Arwin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Ni hao.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Very enthusiastic. Good to hear. First thing I'm going to do is plug a few channels. So over last week, over most of the days, I did a plug for maybe 2 or 3 channels a day that I've had influence from in my journey through Flat Earth, or our current panel members, things of that nature. But basically, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was saying to people, the only way I've seen growth is when people shout me out. And obviously, I can't directly affect people shouting me out. That's entirely up to them whether or not they shout me out. But I can directly affect people who are getting shouted out, and I've got a reasonably sized channel to do so. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So if you're in the live stream chat, the first link in the live stream chat is to DITRH, or Dearth, as is incorrectly pronounced. Nevertheless, David Weiss's channel, and he is a mega heavyweight, whatever you want to call him, a big YouTuber in this regard. So he's very influential in terms of his knowing everybody, getting around a lot, putting a lot of videos out, being involved in a lot of discussions. He was there as a shoulder to cry on for Nathan Thompson, who was recently caught in a long con. And I noticed on Nathan Thompson's channel, Jaren and Dearth, they were there, you know, not only trying to help him before it happened, but they're supporting him in the aftermath. So these are good people. DITRH is a good man, and therefore he's, well, worth a shout out. Why the hell not? He shouted me out enough. So the video I've linked is to his video on perspective. He's got some orthographic representations, obviously in the globe head mindset, of how their version of how the sunsets work compares to his actual practical demonstration of how sunsets would work. So Perspective is the name of the video. DITRH is the name of the YouTuber. Be Here or Be Sphere on the DITRH YouTube channel. Go and subscribe today if you've not done so already. Obviously, it'd be nice to have some nice words from the panel. So over to you. Anyone who wants to say anything nice?
Yeah, I'll start right away. I get all his notifications. Great guy, great work. Real, honest, passionate, dedicated to the subject.
Yeah, sorry, I'll go after.
Right, I was just saying that David Weiss is pretty much the one that got me over the threshold of actually doing live streams for the first time. Just as Nathan convinced me to do a daily show, he was the one that actually really pushed me over the threshold of becoming a YouTuber in Flat Earth. So, yeah, David Weiss is ace.
Indeed, David does some good short.
Hold on, I had Brian first. Go ahead, Brian, then whoever it was from Discord after.
Okay, thank you. David Weiss, he does some good short little videos to do with the sun and little small short little demonstrations. One time he had like a piece of paper looked like the moon on his lampshade, and he was explaining to people. It was such a simple way to explain it to people. Why people in different parts of the world see the moon looking different, because they're looking at it from a different angle. Little things like that, so he's very good at stuff like that.
Excellent. Who's the guy in Discord?
Oh, it was me. I was just going to say real quick, he's, I've been listening to him since the beginning of DITRH.
I remember the first day that he brought up Flat Earth and just the reaction he got from all his panel members. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, he's a great dude. Sub today.
Yeah, I'm glad Brian spoke about some of his videos, because it's very easy for me to go on and on about what nice people we've got in our community. So as I say, in terms of the web designer that's undoubtedly currently helping Jaron make sure his website's absolutely spick and span. The same guy approached me when I was in trouble a couple of years ago, and my channel was looking like it was going to get shut down. Or in fact, 4 channels looking like they're going to get shut down. People rallied around me, and the same thing is happening now with Nathan Thompson. There's people around him saying, "Look, we're here for you. We're supporting you," and we're, in no way putting him down. Just saying, this could happen to anyone, and explaining the situation as it was. So, Jaron explaining to Nathan Thompson that this is liars being deceitful. It doesn't look good. Yeah, you got suckered into it. That's how long con works. It all seems like it's legit, and it wasn't. But by the same token, it's not like, let's use a self-deprecating example. It's not like me going against Bob and saying, "Look, you've been on Netflix, it's caused this great problem, let's get it sorted." Quite the contrary. These people, i.e. these people being, in this example, Jaron and DITRH, are much more willing. Oh, I've got a video that's probably going to get me copyright claimed. Let's just go back onto Dirth's video. Paying attention, Nathan, while I'm talking so wonderfully about Dirth. Yeah, it's a nice community, and it's not a community where people are going to necessarily be backstabbing, and that seems to be getting more and more to be the case as time progresses in this community. Any previous vendettas have been settled, it seems. It's becoming more of a cohesive and supportive community than it's ever been, and having been on the receiving end of some of that support, I can only say how pleased I am to be in this community, especially when we hear the tales of the bullying and the ridicule that even people on their own side of their argument will get on the Globe side. So it's nice to be a flat earther, and DITRH is one of the reasons it is nice to be a flat earther. So we've got a few super chats. All hail Dirth, says Del West Watson. Shout out to APP. Is that right? Let's get it on the other screen so I don't misread it. Hold on 1 second. Shout his app. All right, my bad. Shout his app, Sun and Moon Zodiac Clock app. Right, indeed, he's got an app out. So on the App Store, it's the Sun and Moon Zodiac Clock app, which was developed by DITRH. So go and check it out. But yeah, all hail Dirth. Any more kind words on Dirth? If not, I'll move on. No, moving on.
Dirth. Sorry.
Go on, Brian, or whoever
My
that was.
internet's a bit slow.
Go on, Flatsoid.
I'm saying Dirth is actually one of my inspirations of my videos. I have to say, he's definitely worth the watch and definitely worth subscribe.
Perfect. Next, we have got BLMSB69. Now, BLMSB69, for those who are unaware, is the originator of the Black Swan image. So, there were many Black Swans prior to BLMSB69. Nobody pointed them out. There was plenty afterwards, including one that I'm going to share with you. Second link down in the live stream chat. So, second link is BLMSB69. So, be here or be sphere. Subscribe today. Please let them know that you sent me. So, if you go and subscribe to Dirth, if you're not already, just drop him a comment. Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Subscribe, love your work, keep up the good work, all that sort of stuff. Same goes for BLMSB69. Go and click his link, go and subscribe. Let him know I sent you. Just say, Nathan Oakley sent me. Really, really love the work. Keep it up. He's not an over-enthusiastic YouTuber, BLMSB69. I think he's kind of indifferent. He puts his material out there, but he's not that fussed about becoming a massive YouTuber. But as is always the case with people who aren't that fussed, he produces some of the best work. So it's definitely worth subscribing to all the same. But yeah, he's not like me. He's not here to make a profit from YouTube. He's here to put his information out, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, still, you need to be subscribed to these people. DITRH, obviously, and BLMSB69 in this instance. So yeah, all hail BLMSB69. Anybody got any kind words they want to say about BMLSB69?
BLMSB69. Yeah, all right, thanks. BLMSB69 and the Black Swan, thank you, Chocolate, are synonymous. Love it. Great channel.
I never heard of it before. You have a link to it?
Yes, Arwin.
There's no
Second link down in the live stream chat. I assume that was done intentionally and deliberately. Yes, is to BLMSB.
All the way at the top.
Yeah, all the way
Right,
at the top. BLMSB69. Click on his link, go and subscribe, and say Nathan sent me. Thank you,
which
Arwin.
one is it? The second one?
Yes, Arwin. Yes. Second link down in the live stream chat. Or if you're watching this after the fact, I'll pin it in a comment. Second one down again in the comment if you're watching it after the fact. There we go. Black Swan. Yeah, baby.
All right, subbed.
Cool. Did you leave a comment saying Nathan Oakley sent me? Bet you didn't.
And I literally just said subbed exactly when I just clicked on subbed. So
that's not good enough. Anyway.
Okay, I'm typing it right now. Nathan.
Nathan Oakley 1980
sent me.
Perfect.
Exclamation mark.
He's not going to know. Plus, I've been looking, you know, I've gone back through the last week's videos and had a look, you know, and worst of them has grown by 50 to 60 subs. Some of them have grown to about 150 more, maybe 200 more as a direct result of this. So, I mean, a huge shout out to all of you who actually did it. And an even bigger shout out to all of you who actually put a comment and said Nathan Oakley sent me. But people have definitely gone and subscribed off the back of last week's recommending these people. So I can only assume from that, like me, they like the people I'm recommending. You know, I watch these videos throughout. You know, go on, sorry.
Can I shout out all the people that subbed, said thanks for Nathan Oakley sent me?
Of course you can,
I mean,
yeah.
I went up like 110 subs since then, and about 60 people said Nathan Oakley sent me. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you for all your support. That's all I can say.
Nice.
Exactly, that's what it's all about. So we can quantify basically whether or not it's worth doing. And, you know, last week I wanted to see, I'll leave it stew for a few days, went back, assessed whether or not people had actually gone in, subbed, if the numbers had actually gone up. It could just be people saying, yeah, I've subbed, just because they want to join in when they're already subscribed. But no, the numbers have definitely increased. I was really pleased to see people subscribing to Josh, to see people subscribing to you, to see people subscribing to Math. You know, and people subscribing to Math going, yeah, I've watched your videos. Subscribed. In other words, they'd already watched him, they knew who he was, but they weren't subscribed to him. So they're like, great, you know, why not? And subscribe to these people. Putting in the effort. Any more on BLMSB69? As I say, second link down, go and subscribe today. Let them know I sent you.
I'd like to say something about him. I know he's not like somebody who is a career YouTuber or anything, but if he gets enough subscribers, then he might have more inspiration. You know, that kind of way to do it. Because YouTube makes sure that you don't get much subscribers if you're flat out, or you have anything to do with it. But on top of that, BLMSB69 is somebody who did something a couple of years ago that came to light, that was really the light was shone on earlier this year, and we were all going, why didn't we do this a long time ago? You know, but we didn't. And there's a lot of people out there who are very small YouTubers, who are flat earthers over the past 5 years, who've done things like that, things that have yet to turn up, who've spoke about stuff that has yet to become a thing, you know, in this argument. And it will in time. So people should go and subscribe to BLMSB69. Even if you only put out a video every 6 months, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Thank you.
No, perfect plug. If there's any more, please plug BLMSB69 now. Not, we'll move on. No. Moving on, we've got Brian's Logic, who you just heard speaking about BLMSB69. So this particular video is called Response to PhD Sabine, how'd you say her name? Hossenfelder? Is that right? Hossenfelder? Hope I've said that correctly. But this is Brian's response video.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, this is your response video. So obviously, if you do go and subscribe to Brian, if you're not already, he's not very heavily subscribed to, less than 200 subscribers. So give him some love, give him some encouragement. Let him know I sent you. Say Nathan Oakley 80 sent me. Keep up the good work, whatever you like. But he's the third link down in the live stream chat. So click on the link, go and subscribe to him. Let him know I sent you, and enjoy, because Brian, obviously being a panel member, how could I say otherwise, is an exceptionally good YouTuber and definitely worth subscribing to. He does put material out there. He's got a fairly rammed channel full of stuff. So yeah, you need to be subscribed to these people. When they put out new material like this, these response videos, they're not easy to produce, and they're worth watching. You know, I've watched Brian's video. Check it out. Subscribe today. I'm sure we've all got lots of love for Brian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just
Thanks
to
very
shout
much,
out
man.
Brian. Everybody, Brian is not O'Dowd. He's just Brian. He might sound like him, but he's not Chris O'Dowd. No, he's got quite good content. he's got quite very good content, and I can't believe he's got such a little bit of subscribers. I mean, I thought you'd be more than triple that by now. So, yeah, Brian is definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you,
jump in.
Flipside.
I'll jump in. Brian,
Tim.
you put out some great work. I've always enjoyed it. And of all the people, you've got such a feel for so many parts of this debate. I mean, you're well-rounded on so many subjects. And I love the Cartesian reference points and the GPS material you put out, and how they have the little tangent planes and how they trick everybody. I mean, that was epic. So shout out to you, buddy.
I
Thanks very
concur.
much, Stan.
If it wasn't for Brian, I wouldn't be able to have those arguments. So when it comes to debunking the idea of tangent planes, geodesic surveyors, the begging the question part of it with the models that they utilise, that's all come from Brian. It's not, none of it's me. It's all down to Brian. So, a lot of what we do here, well, I do specifically when I'm debating with people, has come from the people around me. And this is the place to find that material out. And Brian's got it in spades. So, yeah, definitely go subscribe today. Third link down in the live stream YouTube chat is a link to Brian's logic. So click on the link, go and subscribe, let him know I sent you. Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and then I can actually see if this is still proving successful.
Shout
Maybe
out to
people
Brian.
Indeedy do.
Hi, Chocolate.
So another quick
I just
summary.
joined for that specific purpose, Nathan. Give Brian a shout out. Love his channel, and I love the way Brian goes into the Discords and deals with the ballers as well. He's either a brave man or a masochist. But yeah, respect to him for that as well. If you hear that stuff, but yeah, love Brian's work. Like I say, if you can get past that bloody accent, it's actually very, very detailed and good stuff. The level of research that he puts in, I think, is outstanding, and the detail you get out of it and understanding, I think. Yeah,
I
cheers,
totally
Brian, for
agree.
your work.
Just don't hold him being Mexican against him. It's not his fault where he was born.
I'm going to hold it until he does that Westlife song. He's getting jibes until I hear a Westlife tune. He promised me.
Thanks very much, Adam. You know what? If I put everything together onto my channel that I always did, everything that I've done since 5 years ago, I'd have a huge amount of stuff on there. But I just haven't been a dedicated YouTuber because I'm a bit like other people like BLMSB69, where I have a YouTube channel so I can be on the panel here or whatever, that kind of stuff, as opposed to being someone who's a YouTuber, But I'll work on the accent. Thanks, Adam.
No, you don't need to. It's perfect as it is. There's nothing wrong with your accent. She's just a dick.
I love it. I'm just me now.
Well, I was going to say the same about Adam, but I said...
I'm going to say, I get told off for not talking proper and all, mate, so it's always... Hey,
check that out. I get told off for not talking proper and all.
Exactly.
Right, let's not segue too far away from this, right? So I'm going to summarize the three people, right? So all of these are in the live stream chat, so go and subscribe today. First, DITRH. So check them out. First link in the comments, live stream chat, I should say. Go and subscribe. Let me know I sent you. Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Enjoy. You will not regret it. Same goes for BMLSB69. Second link down in the live stream chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, it'll be pinned in the comments. Check his videos out. You will enjoy them. He's got lots of flat earth proof. And check out his videos. Let him know I sent you. Last but by no means least, one of our panel members, the esteemed Brian's Logic. Check him out. Go and subscribe. Let him know I sent you. So that's it. Should we do a bit of housekeeping? Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge formerly known as Earth curvature?
Can't reach him anymore.
Can't reach who?
The links to the channels.
Oh, you
They're
can't
too
reach them
scrolled
anymore.
too far
Oh, well,
down.
I'll have to resolve that. That's glad you told me, Owen. Thank you. So, first link going into the live stream chat now. Getting an extra long plug today. It's taken 20 minutes. But that's okay. These people are great. So you're going to talk about them more, right? So first link that's just gone into the live stream chat is to DITRH. Second link that's going in right now is going to be LMSB69. And last but by no means least, link going into the chat third is going to be Brian's Logic, as they have dropped off because so many people are chatting. So subscribe today. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, definitely flat.
No.
Even Chris O'Dowd says it's flat.
And shout out to BLMSB 69, not from Miramar Beach.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
You mean 15 degrees drift?
As Earth turns underneath, stuff not attached. That's what they claim.
Would
Well,
you
they're
not be
not denying
reference
it.
to that?
It's the Coriolis drift. That's not drifting, yet objects still drift. So it's drift, but no drift. You figure it out.
You can think
Well,
of it
this
as
is
a
a
drift.
this is a perfect time for ballers to come on right now and tell us Earth-based Coriolis and show us 15-degree drift. This perfect opportunity.
You and your
Cricket.
reference frames are ruined.
What, so thanks, Dan? No drift? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
What is the sun?
Shout out to Alexander for the super chat. Good question. Don't know. Would love to
I didn't
know.
see it today.
No, can't even see it. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Only in the
12 kilometers.
illustrations.
12 kilometres, I heard.
Yeah. Is that how deep Earth is? Just 12 Ks?
And think of it as being 12k.
Maybe they got the radius wrong.
What radius? Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Oh, hold on. I just want to address somebody in chat about the previous question. He says, it's not 15 degrees drift, you bloody morons. Okay, welcome to stationary Earth.
Yeah, welcome to
Backwards.
flat Earth. So Earth not turning underneath, no drift. Okay. Obviously, Foucault was wrong. Obviously, when they say turning Earth under bullets, they're wrong. Obviously, Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that the ball drifts through the goal because Earth turned underneath it is wrong. Welcome to flat Earth.
Don't you think it's really
Sounds like
strange
the
that
Coriolis. Sounds like the Coriolis virus is spreading.
I don't know. I think we should get his name. We need to track him. What's his name, Arwin? 6th confirmed case.
Tag force.
Tag Force. He's been infected with the Coriolis virus. A virus that afflicts only ballers when they tell us about how we don't have Earth turning underneath to cause drift. It's spreading like wildfire. An
He says now there
epidemiologist.
is Coriolis drift, but not 15 degrees.
But wouldn't you need 15 degrees an hour to make one rotation of Earth?
Yeah, that's
Per
what they
day.
claim proves it. Earth turning underneath stuff not attached, Coriolis effect, an observation of not actual deflection as you turn underneath stuff. I.e., you look at a drone seeming to drift away from you. It's still drifting away from you as you turn underneath if you've got Coriolis. It's just we don't see it. Your
Well,
drone
the
doesn't
sun
drift away.
is moving 15 degrees an hour. So if that's based on Earth turning, how could he say not 15 degrees? That virus is killing him.
It's killing them. It's disgustingly terrible. But we need to track and trace these people with the Coriolis virus so we know exactly where they are so they don't infect other globeheads who don't understand and at this point are just ignorant and don't even have an awareness that there's a Coriolis virus spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, there needs to be an app you download for people who have the virus, and for and you can state whether you're positive or not on it, and
I didn't think we had to worry,
Should I
guys.
take a test?
I thought.
Yeah,
Korea
I've got the
promised a
test for
vaccine
you.
by
Hold on,
Christmas.
hold on. I've got a test for you. So, the test to see if you have contracted the Coriolis virus is a simple one. You ask the person one simple question. Does Earth turn underneath?
I mean, you don't have to.
Right. Well, so far he said,
Right.
the guy, Tag Force in chat, that there is drift. It's just that momentum causes you to not see it.
So no drift then. So no drift.
Yeah, no drift.
We just don't see it. So
Rather
not
have drift than
apparent.
don't.
Let me get it straight, Arwin. So we're saying it's a not apparent drift. No, they need an apparent drift, 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath. So welcome to Flat Earth again. You're saying there's no drift. Well, that's a bummer, because that's what you need to prove we're spinning. And even if you were correct and we had them not appearing to drift, then there'd be no difference between a stationary Earth and a spinning Earth. But that's not what you claim. You claim we have drift at 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath, stuff not attached. Of course, your actual globe claim of drift at 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath would shorten flights travelling west. Charlotte, North Carolina to LA, for example, would only take an hour and a half if Earth was turning underneath the plane at 15 degrees an hour. And in reality, it doesn't. It takes 4.5 hours because Earth's not rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour. But feel free to tell us from the globe side all about how there isn't drift, like Tag's doing. Shout out to James Richards.
Nathan.
Hold on. Shout out to James Richards. Says, how can one have a magnetic molten iron core? Quote, Curie point? Question mark. You can't. They just made it up, James Richard. Thank you very much for the super chat. Go on,
Yeah,
Ted.
Nathan, 4 days ago, we addressed Dr. Becky when the title of her latest video was, Why Don't We Feel the Earth Spinning? So they say everything is happening, but there's no way of attesting to it, feeling it, or proving it. I think they got the virus.
Yeah,
This guy's holding on to a new straw man, basically saying, no, there is drift, it's just not 15 degrees. But he refused to say how much it is. It should be less then. So where's this less drift then?
He doesn't understand Coriolis force. His last comment, Nathan Oakley. If I'm on the edge of a CCW, rotating roundabout, merry-go-round, and throw a ball at the centre, does it go left, right, or directly over the centre? Coriolis effect is the observation of the ball. You're describing the ball's actual trajectory? Well, you don't understand Coriolis. It's not about an actual trajectory. It's about what you observe of it, seeming to do as you turn underneath it. Why are you asking me about the ball's actual trajectory when Coriolis is not actual? These idiots like Tagforce who deny we have drift don't understand what drift is and ask us all about projectiles when Coriolis is an observation of something not actually happening, i.e. the drone on a rotating Earth would seem to drift away at 1,000 miles an hour because you're rotating underneath as it hovers. Obviously, we don't see anything drifting away at 1,000 miles an hour. Not actual deflection because we're turning underneath it according to a globe Earth that spins claim. We don't observe that. Drones don't drift away at 1,000 miles an hour. But this guy's going to ask me about the actual trajectory of the drone when Coriolis is observed as you turn underneath. They're just thick. This Tag guy, thick.
Well, not only is he thick, but he didn't listen to what I said earlier. The largest luminary in the sky, which is the sun, if the Earth is turning under the sun to make the sun appear to be moving, right? Because the Earth is turning, it's 15 degrees an hour. He's missing the biggest luminary to prove Earth rotation.
Yeah, he's asking me what I would expect the ball to do. Yeah, it's not my claim tag. Yeah, I don't have any claims that utilise reference frames. I do have a quote from one of your own side, though. In terms of what I would expect the ball to do, I don't use this to claim anything. But you do, and guess what? You and your reference frames used to claim Earth has Coriolis effect are ruined. You and your reference frames are ruined. What do I expect the ball to do? Couldn't care less. I'm not utilising Coriolis to claim Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour. You are. So maybe you could tell us what you would expect the ball to do when it's supposed to be you observing the ball, not actually doing something, just you rotating underneath it. While you simultaneously tell us that that's not a reasonable thing to claim when we're not claiming it. You idiots don't seem to get that an attack on us and our use of reference frames is benign. We don't have any. You and your reference frames are ruined because we don't see 15 degrees an hour drift. Now, the Coriolis virus spreading to these infected people needs to be ignored. These people like Tag. These people are just the infected, unfortunate ones. Now, the primary people who put out this infection, that would be people like Becky and Dan and Craig. They're ground zero. And that's what you've really got to do. You've got to attack the source of these problems, these infections, these toxic people who are spreading these diseases, the Coriolis virus in this instance. They are the ones that need to be addressed. So, you and your reference frames are ruined. We don't have any. But you do. And we don't see the effect of a second reference frame turning underneath. Feel free to tell us how we don't see it. How things are drifting together? An oxymoron. So we can point out that you've clearly contracted the Coriolis virus.
I think
can I insert? Oh, I gotta read this one out.
You want to go. I go after one.
It's quick. Okay, Mike Fox in chat now says, plane has engines that counter that force. It's a small force to a plane.
So it's not a force, it's a not actual deflection observed as you turn underneath. So on a roundabout, you seeing the ball seem to curve because you're turning underneath it, is the not actual effect of Coriolis force. So it's not an actual force, Fundies. I know you struggle with this. And again, you're detailing the projectile rather than the observation as you turn underneath. That's Coriolis, which again, Mike doesn't understand because he immediately wants to start talking about the projectile's actual path and how it's affected by a force. No, you clown. It's you rotating underneath to make it seem to do something that Coriolis effect is describing with a not actual force. You complete imbecile.
I think this is more serious than we first recognised, because the Coriolis virus seems to be spreading through live chat from person to person.
Yeah, they're all denying the 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath is something that proves it, and continually justifying not having the 15 degrees an hour drift they need to prove Earth spins. Asking us what we would expect balls to do when they're using this example to prove we spin with a drift no one's observing. No one's seeing drones fly away from them 1,000 miles an hour because we're turning underneath them. Roll on, Coriolis virus victims telling us how we wouldn't expect drift.
But Nathan, if we have a drone hovering above a runabout and it's still seeming to deviate, how is he claiming that like a plane has somehow against the Coriolis if we can still see it with a drone on a demonstration? Is it possible for them to demonstrate anything for us that they make claims about?
Yeah, got this tag force. His infection's getting the better of him. He's obviously getting a high temperature. All cap shouty letters. Then, where does the ball actually go? Question mark. Left, right, or straight over the centre? Question mark. Oh, well, thank you for your very polite tone in chat, tag force. The actual course of the ball is irrelevant, Def. What's the problem? Coriolis is not actual direction of ball, and the apparent direction of the ball. Why are you asking me about it when I've already said this isn't my claim? And I don't need balls to do anything over rotating platforms as we rotate underneath things not attached. This isn't my claim. I know you need the 6 months ago position to still be true, where you attack me on me describing your position with Earth turning underneath and saying, no, it's not Earth turning underneath. They don't drift, they move together. Yeah, that's screwed. Dan ruined that for you, tag. Yeah, you've got you and your reference frames being ruined and Netflix making it clear that we have Earth turning underneath things not attached. We've got Neil deGrasse Tyson making it clear that balls drift because Earth turns underneath them. We've got your own side who come and debate with us about how snipers have to account for Earth turning underneath the bullets. But yet that would shorten flight times. Charlotte to LA would take an hour and a half instead of 4.5 hours if Earth was turning underneath. And that simply does not happen. We don't see drift, nothing's drifting. But you ask me all day about what I'd expect the ball to do when I don't need reference frames. Quote, Simon Dan, you and your reference frames have been ruined. End quote, Simon Dan. Verbatim, word for word, including his stuttering. Because you and your reference frames are ruined, globe-believing fundies who don't have drift to show us, and justify with a Coriolis virus infection how we don't have 15 degrees an hour drift, and to say Earth turning underneath isn't correct, when it's your claim. So keep telling us. Let this infection spread so we can deal with it at source level. That'll be people like Craig, people like Simon Dan, quote, you and your reference frames have been ruined, end quote, and Dr. Becky. rumpus who can suddenly stutter and no longer define what a bloody pendulum does because of this problem Dan's caused. Because you've got Earth rotating underneath pendulums, fundies. Keep telling us how you don't have drift.
I think they're working up a fever, Nathan.
I know, it's brilliant. Spreading like wildfire, it's great.
Almost like Simon Dan was a outbreak monkey.
Yeah, he's ground zero.
I think, sorry.
Outbreak monkey.
You were out on a limb on that one, Chocolate.
No, he's not wrong. It's analogous to a virus. That's why I'm drawing the comparison. It's spread. There's a good chance it's already part of people's bloodstream. And this is just it exhibiting itself in a way that can be defined. Like when people arbitrarily assign various different states of mind to people and call it psychology. Well, we can do that too. The affliction in this instance is people who should think Earth turns underneath to cause drift, to prove we spin, telling us all about how we don't have it. How Earth is not turning underneath, how there isn't a second reference frame. In fact, the reference frames used by the globe to claim we spin are ruined. Now that's a very big disease that they're all suffering from and they didn't even know it. And we're the cure. We can save you, Globers. Earth is not spinning. There is no second reference frame. Dan's right. You and your reference frames claimed to prove Earth's spin are ruined. And Dan ruined them for you.
I just want to add to what Tent was said earlier. I think what they need, I think for these people, the first step towards getting better would be actually accepting their own model. So for these people, what is a solar day? Because the claim on their side is that the sun moves 15 degrees an hour, making a 360-degree circle around us due to Earth rotating once a day, 360 degrees. So 360 degrees has to be 15 degrees an hour. It can't be at less, you know, that kind of.
I remember somebody telling us that's irrelevant.
Yeah, again, that tag force guy, Alwyn, suckered me into discussing it within the chat, says, Nathan Oakley 1980, objects moving across any rotating surface. But his previous message, Coriolis, is not the Earth turning underneath things. Is that so? Welcome to Flat Earth, tag force. We would agree. You don't have Earth-based Coriolis effect. Earth isn't turning underneath things. But that's precisely what Coriolis effect would give you if Earth was turning. That would be Earth turning underneath things. Now, the fact that you're more than happy with your Coriolis infection to tell us, quote, Coriolis is not the Earth turning underneath things. Yeah, you don't have that. We know. Earth does not have Coriolis effect. That would be you turning underneath things. That's precisely what Coriolis effect is. You just don't have it on a turning Earth because Earth is not turning. But you keep vomiting out that infection all over the chat for us there, Tag. Thanks very much.
Now he's saying that Coriolis effect doesn't exist on the flat Earth. I'm pretty sure it does, Mike Fox. It's just not the Earth that's doing it.
Oh, so now he denies Coriolis effect altogether? Coriolis is real. You can observe it from a roundabout. Have two people stand either end of a roundabout on the ground, not spinning with the roundabout, throwing a ball to each other. They will throw the ball in a straight line back and forth over the top of the roundabout. Now, if you are then sitting on the roundabout, turning underneath, it'll seem like the ball's curving as you turn underneath. Basically, to have Coriolis effect, you've got to be turning underneath stuff. And what do you know? This infection has spread throughout the land and has led these ballers to believe that Coriolis effect isn't turning underneath stuff because Earth isn't turning underneath stuff. Yeah, Coriolis still happens on a flat Earth that we live on. That's just exhibited by a roundabout and stuff that's not attached to it, seeming to do stuff it isn't because you're turning underneath it. But you would deny the very premise of Coriolis effect because Earth isn't doing it, right? Yeah, we know. It's called the Coriolis virus.
There's another, I think there's someone else, Planet Earthling. I think he's now after being affected. That's number 7 or 8, is it?
That's 8 confirmed cases. 8 confirmed cases of the Coriolis virus. Just while we're live, it's doubled. That's a 100% increase.
Not a Kuma virus?
Oh no, that it hasn't doubled because he made 5. My bad. Hasn't quite doubled yet.
Hey, these guys are doubling so fast that it's reaching amnesia state. They're forgetting their own position.
Yeah, should we see if we can fry Tag's brains in the chat? So Earth does not turn underneath a pendulum, Tag. Just simple yes or no from the chat. Let's see if we can make him completely explode. So he's basically telling us, Earth turning underneath? No, that's not Coriolis. We don't have Coriolis. Earth isn't turning underneath. So Earth isn't turning underneath a pendulum, Tag. Yes or no? Does Earth turn under a pendulum? Can someone quote the, or send in Discord, or G+, sorry. I'll get there in the end. In Skype, can someone send me the little description of Foucault's pendulum that overtly states Earth's turning underneath the pendulum to cause it to seem to drift, just so we can correct Tag on his own rhetoric, and then point out that if Earth was turning under a pendulum precisely as claimed, then it would turn underneath balls, as Neil deGrasse Tyson's claiming, and it would shorten flight times because Earth would be turning underneath planes because they're not attached, for us to have this effect of looking at them seem to drift. Of course, he's denying that because he's got this virus. Can anybody stick that quote in?
Yeah, I'm on it. I'll get it.
Perfect. We'll see how Tag gets on explaining to us it, because he's clearly claiming Earth and Coriolis effect isn't observable, and Earth turning underneath isn't what Coriolis effect is. Does Earth turn underneath the pendulum there, Tag? But you're completely misunderstanding what's actually happening, says Tagforce. Well, maybe you can clarify, Tagforce. Does Earth turn underneath a pendulum? Because you're saying that's absolutely not the case. Seems like you've got a bit of a problem. Same problem as Rumpus had, surprisingly. Let's see if you can stutter on your keyboard like Rumpus did when he was here live. Earth not turning underneath a pendulum. Tagforce is about to debunk Foucault. Let's see how he does get on. Will he give us an answer? He's made it clear Earth turning underneath isn't what's happening, so Earth isn't turning underneath a pendulum then, Tagforce.
It's coming your way. It's taking a little while to download.
Welcome to But not on your debate show. Yes, you are, Tag. You're in the chat. It's just we're not often interactive with our chat. And now I'm directly asking you a question you're avoiding. Earth, according to you, and it turning underneath isn't what we're describing in Coriolis effect. And when we're describing it, we're clarifying your claim. I'm now asking Tagforce, who's made it explicitly clear in the chat, Earth turning underneath is not what's going on. I've welcomed him to Flat Earth, but now I'm asking him, from his globe rhetoric he's still got with this Coriolis virus, if he can say yes or no to a simple question. Does Earth turn underneath a pendulum, Tagforce? Maybe a short circuit moment. Please keep me updated on the reply while I do this.
He says already said no, it's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can someone read out this picture of the chair with the Foucault pendulum example? Can someone read that out for me? Maybe 10th Manners, it's you that's posted it.
Yeah, I got it. The Foucault pendulum. Okay, the Foucault pendulum swings back and forth in the same plane while a stool is turned beneath it. Likewise, a Foucault pendulum on the Earth's surface swings back and forth in the same plane while the Earth turns beneath it. The amount of turning observed depends on the latitude of the pendulum.
So Tagforce, with his Coriolis virus infection, doesn't seem to be able to cope with the fact that they absolutely claim Earth turns underneath pendulums, gyroscopes, footballs, bullets, and that would shorten flight times, Tagforce. So you're saying no, and yet Foucault is saying yes. So as much as you are a nameless, faceless troll in the chat who's denying Earth turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour because you're affected with the Coriolis virus, you're telling me in no uncertain terms, answer to my question is a simple no for the third time. The pendulum doesn't have Earth turning underneath, according to Tagforce, and a lot of people affected with the Coriolis virus. So welcome to Flat Earth, Tagforce. Earth is not turning beneath the pendulum as Foucault claimed. Here it is in black and white as per your heliocentric rhetoric, and it makes it explicitly clear that they're claiming Earth is turning beneath this pendulum, Tagforce. Third time, maybe? Maybe tell me a fourth time that you're willing to debunk your own claim that Earth turns underneath. Fourth time's a charm, my friend. Tell me again how no, Earth isn't turning under the pendulum, right? Yeah, we know. Welcome to Flat Earth. Good job debunking for cult. Thank you for debunking for cult, Tag Force. You'll go down in history as the same level of infected clown as Simon, Dan and Craig fight the Flat Earth and Dr. Becky, because you've just debunked for cult. Well done. Good dog.
He's getting into really weird territory currently because now he said they're addressing you. That's indeed the simple way to explain it. Yet it is technically wrong.
Oh, for cult's technically wrong. I don't care, technically or otherwise. Earth's supposed to be turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That would shorten flights going west, and it does not happen. So you've got to tell me that it's kind of like it happens, but you've told me 3 times that it's not? Yeah, that's just because you've got a bit of a problem, a bit of a short circuit. Earth's supposed to be turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour to prove it spins, but that would cause things to drift away 1,000 miles an hour on the equator, and you've got to tell us that we just don't understand Coriolis, and Earth turning underneath isn't the effect. And Earth isn't turning under the pendulum, 3rd time's a charm. No, you've just debunked for cult, you complete idiots. That's what this virus does for you. It means that any gyroscope or pendulum claim is instantly debunked when you tell us all about how Earth isn't turning underneath. You debunking the claim proof Earth spins. Well done, infected globetards. Shout out to Rakia Life. Says, quick, shut down the airports. Quarantine them. Yeah, the virus is spreading fast, Rakia.
We've just got it. Just as you said that, Nathan, he just typed it in just to confirm you're correct. It isn't. The pendulum is on a stool, which is connected to the Earth. So how could it be turning underneath it? So he's right. He's debunking for cult. Well done.
Yeah, how could it be turning underneath? Well, it's exampling how Earth would be turning underneath, my friend. Something you've made clear 3 times you're willing to debunk. No, it's not Earth turning underneath as described by Foucault. How could it be? You're asking us how it could be. This isn't our claim, you stupid idiot. Why won't you go and ask your own side why Earth isn't turning underneath pendulums, as you're telling us 3 times? No, Earth not turning underneath. And then when it's claimed it is turning underneath a pendulum, you think it's reasonable to ask us why it isn't. It's not a claim. When will you idiots understand? We're not the ones who need reference frames. You are. You claim them with Foucault and tell us all about how Earth isn't turning underneath. Foucault pendulum, aeroplanes, hot air balloons, drones. But what is turning underneath? Footballs, bullets, gyros and pendulums. But it isn't turning under pendulums. Yeah, it's a big short circuit. And we're just going to laugh at you and point out how infected you are with this disease of globe belief.
Don't you think it's quite strange that Foucault's pendulum has just gone missing, that you can't find it? Not to mention the first gyro also just gone missing, you can't find it.
Makes no odds to me.
I think John was trying to say something.
Go on.
Sorry, Paul, I go after you.
Well, what also is along that same lines, Flatsoid, I've had the Globers on Discord tell me that a mechanical gyro cannot pick up precession unless it's precise enough. Now, do you think Foucault and his gyro was more precise than, let's say, one that you could buy yourself for $300 or $400 is less precise than that one that he used?
Regardless of the precision, who was just talking? Was it Paul? I should know from the kids in the background.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, regardless of the precision, when you say we wouldn't detect precession, what would cause this so-called precession that we should or shouldn't see? What would be the cause of that precession?
Earth rotating underneath the gyro.
Oh, so the precession we should see in the gyro would be caused by something that the chat and other infected globe believers are telling us doesn't happen. So Earth not turning underneath according to the chat at the moment. Obviously, it sent them into a bit of a frenzy. But they're all making it really clear Earth isn't turning underneath. But you're saying other fundies tell us how we should see deflection, apparent drift in a gyro as Earth turns underneath it. A bit like the Foucault pendulum claim I put up on screen a minute ago. With Earth turning beneath the pendulum. Something they're really going out of their way to tell us doesn't happen. Debunking their own claims. It's really mad. But you say we should, if we've got a really precise gyro, be able to observe Earth turning underneath it, right, Paul?
That's what they tell us. That's what I've heard before. If you have a really good precise one, you should be able to detect it.
I see. So with a really precise gyro, we'll be able to see 15 degrees an hour of the Earth turning underneath the fixed frame of the gyro. Well, that would shorten flight times. If Earth was turning underneath as a second reference frame, quote Dan, you and your reference frames are ruined, then you wouldn't have Earth turning underneath planes, would you? Oh, you would. 15 degrees an hour underneath planes if it's turning underneath a gyro in its fixed frame to show this deflection. That's Earth turning underneath planes, shortening their flight times. And that doesn't happen. That'd be Earth turning underneath a drone on the equator at 1,000 miles an hour and it whizzing away from you as you turned under it. And that doesn't happen. But yet, with a really precise gyro, we can see how it does. Oh, no. No, we're even being told by their own side, Paul. This claim that Earth turns underneath, that doesn't happen. They're more than happy to tell us 3 times in a row that it's not the case, even though it's being claimed by pendulums and gyros and bullets and balls.
But
well, what needs to happen is... Sorry, 1 second.
Mike Fox is ad homing now. He's
Arwin and Flatzoid. Arwin and Flatzoid.
Now he's ad homing me.
Arwin and Flatzoid. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Nathan. What needs to happen is these people in the chat who have this virus, what they need to do is post in the chat or anywhere they can get it to you, a physical demonstration of what they're claiming. That would be the easiest thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you need to start showing us.
It's weird.
I mean, obviously we don't want any of the infected demonstrations. We don't want any people showing us, like, for example, a guy bouncing whilst being towed by a tractor, not drifting underneath. Well, that would be obviously a retarded demonstration given by somebody infected with the Coriolis virus. We would need to see examples that do show the claimed 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath, exhibited in something. Obviously, as soon as you prove that, for example, with a really precise gyro, we'd point out that that would shorten flights going west. And a Charlotte to LA flight would only take an hour and a half if Earth was turning underneath. Yeah. So we're not going to need a demonstration that shows us with a second reference frame because that will instantly be debunked by a flight not having a shortened flight time. And just telling us that we wouldn't expect to see drift debunks the claim for cults making. So, yeah, there's a lot of poison around these parts at the moment. It doesn't seem to matter which way they turn, they're going to end up dead.
Well, they're going to either send you a video. Sorry, go on, Flats, I'll go in a second.
I'm just saying, not to mention the gyros can process both ways, not just one way. So how do you equate that to Earth spin if it can go the other way?
I don't care. They need Earth turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour and now shorten flight times. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, well, they can only show you one of 2 things. They can either show you the Earth from what they call space, rotating, or they can show you the Earth from where we are on the ground, not rotating. So they can either show you it not rotating in what we know as reality, or they can show it rotating in what they claim is reality.
I see.
And either way, they run into a brick wall.
So, to summarise, you're saying either they show you a fake picture from a fake place, that would be outer space, a sky vacuum, second law of thermodynamics violation, with a picture of Earth turning a bit like you'd see at the cinema with Superman flying around it to make the world turn backwards. Or you can have demonstrations on the ground with nothing drifting and just have your fundy ground troops explain away that 3 times in a row, no, Earth isn't claimed to turn underneath. Foucault's pendulum. Embarrassing, right?
Well,
yeah, I think, very much so.
I think we've got a welcome to flat Earth. Because Tag Force has now said, look, let me tell you in a different way then, Nathan. If the Earth was turning underneath, the pendulum would precess 360 degrees per 24 hours. It doesn't. Tag, welcome to flat Earth, mate.
Oh, so if Earth was turning underneath, well, if Earth was turning underneath, Tag Force, a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half because Earth would be rotating underneath as a second reference frame. So what, now you've conceded 3 times that Earth isn't rotating underneath, you want to give us an example where it is? Oh, be our guest. Because if Earth's rotating underneath, you'd have shortened flight times. And you'd have drones whizzing away from you at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator because we'd be turning underneath them. Now that's absurd. But thank you so much for actually now claiming Earth does turn underneath things not attached, so we can absolutely pummel the fact that they don't. Like flights not being reduced in their air travel time because Earth is definitely not turning underneath them, as claimed by Foucault and denied by you. This virus has you very confused. You seem to want to take 3 attempts to tell us how Earth turning underneath isn't correct, only to say if Earth was turning underneath the pendulum, then we'd see deflection. Like we don't understand what you're claiming and denying simultaneously, idiot. Yeah, this virus is a big problem. It's going to cause a lot of confusion in the people who are affected. They're going to spend a long time denying Earth turning underneath, only to then go on to ask us what we would expect when it's not our claim, and then later tell us how we should think about Earth turning underneath a Foucault pendulum they've just debunked. Marvellous work. Marvellous work, Globers. Keep it up. Let the infection spread far and wide, like this show when shared on Facebook and Twitter.
Nathan is getting bad here. He's saying, that's not the drift we're claiming, you dimwit. And he's on the position that Earth is turning. It's getting bad.
So
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Before we round out, let's ask the same guy the same question. So, given that you've denied it 3 times, made it really clear in shouty caps that 3 times in a row, no, Earth doesn't turn under the pendulum. Does Earth turn under the Foucault pendulum? Yes or no? We've had no 3 times so far. Let's see if he says yes. Does Earth turn under the pendulum tag?
1454 in the chat that it shortens flight times.
We'll get to that when he says yes, given that he's already said no 3 times, but now he's asking me to think about Earth turning under a pendulum. Something he said doesn't happen, Earth doesn't turn underneath. So I'm asking him again, does Earth turn under Foucault's pendulum? No, the pendulum turns with the Earth. Well, so it's not drifting then. So no 15 degrees an hour, as is claimed by Foucault, as he claims Earth turns underneath. So 4th time's a charm. He's going to debunk the claim that Foucault pendulum demonstrates Earth turning underneath, as exampled in this citation, where it makes it specifically clear that Earth is claimed to turn beneath it. But Tag Force says no. The infection runs wild.
Yeah, he's after replying, no, Tag Force says, no, the pendulum turns with the Earth.
They're not drifting at 15 degrees an hour then. It's not deflecting then. Moving with the Earth as it turns, so you wouldn't notice any effect then. So no proof we spin, no deviation, no 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath, as is claimed by Foucault. Just put it up one more time for the audience's benefit for this complete idiot in the chat who says no, Earth doesn't turn under the Foucault pendulum. So this claim on screen, which says it does, is debunked by a globehead in chat who says no, that's not what's happening. So no, Tag Force makes it clear 4th time in a row, Earth is not turning underneath the pendulum. Good job we cleared that up, because that was supposed to be a proof you spin. We don't, we're stationary. Thank you for debunking Foucault's pendulum by saying Earth isn't turning underneath. Welcome to Flat Earth. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. A massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Stay tuned if you're watching on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!